Visionaries is proud to present its 18th season on public television. Sometimes you read the paper and watch the news, and it seems like there's more bad news than good in the world. But you know what? It's just not true.
I at least can hold on to something, that there's something, maybe it's small, but there's something that I'm doing to make a difference.
It's just a feeling that you have. If you can help people, you have to. There's no alternative.
Every child has potential that we just can't know. And so, to my mind, that's what we're doing. We are saving potential for the future.
Poverty and malnutrition in Latin America do not make exciting headlines like the violence and drug trafficking we read about every day. But according to the World Bank, chronic child malnutrition and poverty are as common in much of Central America as they are in Africa or South Asia. What's more, countries like Honduras are extremely vulnerable to natural disasters like landslides because of overfarming, deforestation, and the effects of climate change. For over 70 years, Zamorano University has been an antidote to these problems. Their mission is to educate underprivileged youth to become leaders of Latin America in agriculture and environmental protection. As graduates, these young people often return to their communities to introduce sustainable farming methods and to lead efforts in natural resource protection. One community at a time, these Zamorano graduates are transforming a region, lifting people out of poverty and hunger, and brightening the future for all.
Students in Zamorano have a very tough schedule every day. They start at 5 a.m. and then they go to bed at 10 p.m.
We go directly to the fields. We don't stay just in the labs. And we get everything of the production of food from the starting of the seed to the end of the whole product, where you go and market it to the supermarkets. We have a strong work ethic. We teach respect. We teach solidarity.
Y matar 50 lombrices que comprar un kilo y matar todo el kilo de lombrices.
Zamorano is very well recognized in the region, and so people want this type of education. We try to open it to everybody who has the qualifications, regardless of economic background.
Agarran una por la cola y tiene que venirse la otra pegada.
So potential students apply, and they go through a very rigorous examination program. We want leaders. Around 70% of our students receive some type of assistance.
So we have to rely on donors, and we have different sources of financial means for doing that, including the Latin American governments, of which we are very proud. The Latin American governments have understood during this 70 years history of having Zamorano graduates in their countries that Zamorano really provides leaders.
Ustedes pueden crear más expectativas de trabajo. Por ejemplo, si ustedes aplican a 40 lugares.
Provengo de una familia de orígenes indígenas. Mi familia migró del barrio nativo, que quedaba a unas horas de la casa donde vivía. Mi papá se dedica a producciones de hortalizas. Soy el único que estudio de la familia. Tengo un orgullo de mi padre. Mi papá es analfabeto. Llegué a ser el primero también del colegio. Avancé a ganar como que el respeto de todos. Al inicio era un poquito discriminado en el colegio que estudiaba porque provenía de zonas indígenas. Cuando apliqué para Zamorano no sabía nada, no conocían acerca de mi decisión porque parecían imposibles los costos que tenían para la matrícula. La idea nació de los dirigentes barriales de donde provengo. En 2006 y 2007 el gobierno ecuatoriano hizo un censo en todas las comunidades rurales y urbanas también. Entonces el punto crítico que salió fueron la zona donde yo provengo, en desnutrición de los niños. De ahí nació el proyecto de capacitar a jóvenes y que regresen al barrio a ayudar en producciones de una manera sana, inocua y contribuir a la seguridad alimentaria de los pueblos indígenas. Mi sueño en personal es continuar con mis estudios. Después de graduar Zamorano, sueño con seguir estudiando una maestría y hasta obtener un doctorado. Y luego continuar con mi proyecto que empecé hace 3 años, que es implantar un proyecto de desarrollo rural en mi barrio.
Social responsibility is also one of the things that we teach students so that when they graduate, they remember that somebody helped them and that they got their education here at Zamorano because of somebody's hand.
We have graduates from 29 countries. They all go back and contribute to their communities.
Solamente vamos a poner este ejemplo. Acá.
Para calcular cuánto nos aporta ese...
We have so many success stories of students who have been able to take their families out of poverty and at the same time influence their communities.
Y el calcio, que era 9%, aporta 0.45.
We have Zamoranos in almost every type of job. They're very skilled and they can work in government, they can work privately for corporations, but they usually rise to the top very quickly because they are natural born leaders.
Zamorano was founded in 1941 and started operations in 1942. This was the dream of a very visionary person that was Samuel Semurrey. He was a high executive of the United Fruit Company with operations all over Latin America. So he was thinking, how could my company and myself give something back to the region? And so he thought by founding a school that would develop leaders.
I am the great-granddaughter of the founder. Since the 4 generations, the family has been involved with Zamorano. My great-grandfather was a Russian immigrant to the United States. Being a self-made man, he never had the opportunity to educate himself, and so he valued education very much.
So he put together the idea and looked for the right person to do it. Dr. Wilson Popenoe was the first director. He was a famed scientist in the horticultural sciences and worked for the government of the US and also for the United Fruit Company. Dr. Popenoe devised the 4 pillars that are the foundation of Zamorano. academic excellence, learning by doing, formation in character and values, and also Pan-Americanism.
Pan-Americanism is very important for our students. They have to live among other students from other cultures, other countries, other social classes, and this gives a wider perspective to our students to go out in the world and develop their areas, their communities, and develop themselves as people.
Quiero escuchar las opiniones de ustedes, entonces al final quiero que concluyan diciéndome si están de acuerdo.
Zamorano also offers a lot of possibilities of going out in the communities with their outreach programs, where we not only use them as a teaching tool, but also as a way to impact the communities and social service as our social responsibility mission.
Honduras, as an example, has still problems of malnutrition, problems of an agricultural sector that still has to improve the productivity and the efficiency for food production. Some logistic problems like rural transportation and roads. So Zamorano is responding to those problems. We call it applied research, and we tackle issues such as integrated pest management or the improvement of basic foods, as an example, beans.
I started my job with this group in the year 2010. We started working with them with basic grains, particularly with beans. I taught them some of the basic agricultural techniques that they had to know to increase their yield production, their yield. They usually come and put 2 to 3 seeds in the same hole, and that's not correct because there's a lot of competition between the plants and the production is lower. So that's one of the techniques that I show them.
Los sentimos más alegres porque con este proyecto nosotros vamos a sembrar granos básicos, sea que llueva o sea que no llueva, nosotros vamos a sembrar.
Por medio del riego los hemos ayudado bastante. Antes uno no producía así, los alimentos que hemos tenido aquí no los teníamos en la casa. Y ahora esta vez que pasó ya la sacamos. Hortalizas, repollos y pepinos y zanahorias.
Final, en la casa Maya,
la gran diferencia aquí, que yo puedo decir, ¿verdad?, que no es solo producir mejor, sino que también ellos tratan de tener un grupo mejor. Viene la esposa y el esposo a participar aquí. Los niños también vienen a participar aquí. Entonces es como también un trabajo familiar que les permite a las familias estar más unidos.
Hay que ser bueno y hay que parecer ser bueno. Yo voy a ver cómo les mando esa oportunidad que me dieron de Manpower.
I'm convinced that Zamorano probably has the best formation for undergraduates, and a large component of that is the learning by doing. We typically have students who go to the classroom and get the answers without ever having formulated the question. I can give you the answer right now. As a professor, I can tell you the answer is 144.
Cuando estamos quemando materia orgánica, realmente no es la madera que estamos quemando, son los gases.
But as a student, if I haven't internalized the question, what is 12 times 12? 144 doesn't mean anything. And so part of the process of learning by doing is for the students to form those questions, to come out and have real-world experiences where they can hopefully be reflecting on why we're doing this management activity. You know, why is it that natural resource protection is so important? Why is reforestation so important? What is my role in society in terms of guaranteeing that there's a future for my kids, my grandkids, and my neighbors' kids?
We have just entered into Zamorano properties again,
and we're headed up to the Yucca Biological Reserve, which is one of Zamorano's forested properties. This particular mountain is a primary watershed for about 20 communities. Zamorano has an agreement with the Honduran federal government in that we're co-managing the biological reserve. And the biological reserve is designed for the protection and the care of the ecosystem. Zamorano is also home to the Improved Stove Certification Center. And what we do is we evaluate the efficiency and the emissions of different biomass fuel stoves, typically using firewood. And when you think about firewood consumption by these local communities, what people generally think about is deforestation. However, there's another impact that's probably more significant in the long term, and that's soil erosion. Usually the women and children come up to do the firewood collection, and so they'll go out, cut a couple trees down, and then drag that bundle down out of the hill in a straight line. And what we can see here behind us is the result of that. And so Zamorano University came up here with our students to build these rock walls in order to try and slow down and avoid this type of soil erosion. For the students, it's a great opportunity because they're able to come out and do something to help protect the environment.
¿Por qué nos importa el monóxido de carbono? Es tóxico. Porque es tóxico.
One of the reasons why I'm passionate about protecting the forests, and one of the reasons why I'm passionate about the stoves, is because of the kids. Indoor air pollution kills more people globally than malaria does. Cooking shouldn't kill, as they say. I first became involved with stoves based upon the impact of biomass consumption in regard to the forest resources. No, entonces me alegra mucho que le guste su estufa, está funcionando y
¿Verdad que le gusta? Sí.
it didn't take me very long at all to learn probably the bigger benefit of the improved stoves, and that is in terms of health. Health, especially to women and children.
Llévame esto para adentro. Tome.
I'm a father, and my kids are a lot bigger now, but it's still, I feel, my obligation to make sure that my kids and my grandkids and the grandkids of my nieces and nephews who are Honduran can enjoy the basic quality of life of living in a non-contaminated house.
For me, working at Zamorano is more than a work.
En nuestros países aún
It's a way of living.
gracias a Zamorano.
You know, it's like you see the students, they are working hard. You see your colleagues, they don't stop. So it's kind of contagious. But it is great to do it, and I think we have to do it.
Este realmente es un momento histórico para la agricultura de Honduras, de los países que servimos y para la Escuela Agrícola Panamericana. Por eso,
This week we have this very historically and important event on campus. It's called International Conference that addresses the contribution of women in agriculture.
la equidad es la máxima expresión de la justicia. No existe equidad donde prevalece cualquier...
To me, it was an amazing opportunity to let these young ladies know that they have a potential in life to do the best they are able.
Tenemos que promover que las chicas en la universidad sean líderes, se paren en las aulas y crean proyectos.
And also that the institution, that Zamorano,
is aware of their potential for leading society. I wish I was one of those kids sitting there, being a student myself, and listening and learning from other role models, but female role models, because in agriculture, usually I will say in Latin America, most of the agricultural role models came from men.
In 1983, women came to Zamorano as students, and we are celebrating the 30th year of women leadership in Zamorano in agriculture.
Son los gránulos densos de la proteína que se forman aquí. Provengo de una familia de madre soltera, tengo 5 hermanos. Ahorita en Zamorano, uno de mis mejores logros ahorita es que estoy en el primer lugar de mi carrera. En toda la clase también estoy en el segundo lugar. Mi mamá está muy feliz de los logros que he tenido porque ella siente que cada vez que yo tengo un logro, ella también tiene un logro.
When I see women achieving the first place in Zamorano, that is a representation of the quality, not only of the student as a professional, but as a person. Usually in Latin America, women, to achieve a higher place in their professional lives means that they have to make more effort to achieve that goal. So that means that that person is dedicated.
Entonces, el biofos es un fertilizante que es compuesto.
She wants to do the best for her and for the societies and the women that are coming behind her.
Zamorano es una experiencia inolvidable, realmente es una escuela que te forma y te forma en todos los sentidos, te ayuda a mejorar tu desarrollo como persona, como ser humano. Desde el primer día que ingresas, sientes ese ambiente, te pide ser lo mejor que puedes.
I guess I am here to try to perpetuate the family's legacy, the philanthropic ideals of helping others do better. It's just such a rewarding feeling that this is what I want to make sure that Zamorano preserves.
Esto es excelente, muy bien.
Zamorano will keep on growing with this mission in mind, but I would hope for it that it could touch more societies and more communities that need us.
Hello.
You'll identify a Zamorano wherever they go. They are true natural leaders and they're problem solvers. They come in and try to make life better for everybody.
Now celebrating its 70th anniversary, Zamorano has played a vital role in the agricultural development of more than 19 countries in Latin America.
Sometimes you read the paper and watch the news, and it seems like there's more bad news than good in the world. But you know what? It's just not true.
I at least can hold on to something, that there's something, maybe it's small, but there's something that I'm doing to make a difference.
It's just a feeling that you have. If you can help people, you have to. There's no alternative.
Every child has potential that we just can't know. And so, to my mind, that's what we're doing. We are saving potential for the future.